Hey guys, welcome to our premiere episode of Coming Soon, the new improved version of our show. On this show, we're going to be talking about all the films that are coming out in theaters and kind of rate it according to our excitement level. So here to battle this new adventure with me, I have sitting to my left, Mr. Christian Harloff.
Oh, me. Hey, how's it going? Nice to be here for the very first reincarnated version of Coming Soon.
The new and improved 2.0 version. Also, Mr. David Griffin, sorry about that.
I'm just excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Love the AMC new studios. This place is amazing.
Not bad, not bad. And the lovely Maud Garrett.
Oh, and we have excitement levels from this to this.
I want that all show.
Okay.
All right, so I gave a fun little rating system to this. Instead of your typical 1 through 5, we are going to still do 1 through 5 and kind of do it in terms of excitement, when you're going to rush out to see it or if you're not. So 1 would be not interested. 2 would be I'm curious, but maybe not going to run out to see it right away. 3 is I'm seeing it, definitely interested, but not jumping up and down about it. 4 is opening weekend, baby, let's do this. And 5 is I'm camping out, I'm a diehard fan, nothing is going to stop me from seeing this immediately. So with that in mind, the films opening, of course, this Friday are starting with Furious 7 in IMAX. Of course, James Wan took over this franchise from Justin Lin. In this film, Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham, he seeks revenge against Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, and his family for the death of his brother. Of course, this was Paul Walker's last film. The production was delayed a lot surrounding it. This is the 7th in the franchise. We kind of know the characters and everything. Christian, why don't we start with you? Out of 1, not interested, and 5, you're going to camp out. Where's your excitement level?
Well, I'm in for Jason Statham, you know what I mean? I am at a camp out for this one.
Woo!
And it's funny because had you gone back in time, right after the 3rd Fast and Furious, and I would be a not interested. Because what this franchise has done, really, 4 put it into the, well, this is getting different. 5 changed the game in the genre completely. It became a fun heist movie, didn't take itself serious at all, and it was the definition of a popcorn movie. Am I looking for an Oscar winner? No. I'm looking for fun. I'm looking for silly. When they brought The Rock in, that absolutely helped it out. It's just gone into, and it's also, it kickstarts the summer season. Even though it's coming in April, it really has that blockbuster summer feel to it. So, yeah, I'm ready for the summer movie season. I had my Oscar season. It's time for the summer season. Fast starts it. I'm camping out for this one because I want to shove popcorn in my face.
I love popcorn. David?
I am with Christian. I want popcorn. I want more popcorn. I'm going to give this a 4. It's not maybe a camp out for me, but it's definitely a must-see opening weekend. I want to see it. I'm just curious what James Wan's going to do. I mean, he's Insidious. He's known more for the horror genre, but this is going to be an interesting new film for him to do. Of course, Justin Lin's off in Star Trek universe right now doing his thing. I'm excited. I mean, we have Jason Statham playing Luke Evans, from the last movie, his brother. So there's a revenge story.
They look so much alike.
I mean, I think the action is going to be awesome too. These movies have so much action that they don't take themselves seriously anymore. And I think that's what's the key to helping this franchise just succeed. It feels like it gets better ever since Tokyo Drift. It's gotten better and better.
Tokyo Drift. Had to bring that one up here. I'm just kidding. All right, Maud, from not interested 1 to camp out 5, where do you stand?
Opening weekend. I'm going 4 for this one. I'm the same. I really want to support James Wan. He's technically an Australian, so I'm really behind him for that. Technically, by technicality here. So I'm supporting him in that venture. I actually did a set visit for Fast and Furious. Unfortunately, weren't able to show the interviews ever, so I just had to take the experience away. In the trailer, did you notice that they're in Dubai and there's a huge party and there's gold girls dancing? I was there.
Yes.
And I want to know what it looks like and how it translates on screen.
Were you a gold girl dancing?
I had the moves.
Yeah, girl.
No, I actually looked really sad. They were so sore because I was like dancing in the top, like, oh, go again. But it is. There's a ridiculousness now. Like, they've gone so far with it that you cannot take it seriously. It is a fun flick. They're parachuting out of a plane in their cars. This is great, I feel.
Yeah, it's just what that series has been able to do by being able to. It's gone away from, like, there's a lot of movies that if a plane jumps from building to building, you go, oh, come on. But this one, you go, yeah, more.
Do it.
And I totally agree with you guys with the James Wan, because James Wan, for me, is a guy who has been in the horror genre. I want to see, he's one of those guys that the directors that we've mentioned many times on Movie Talk are almost like the stars of movies now, whether it be a Nolan or Tarantino or Matthew Vaughn, guys like that. So I want James Wan to hit that level because I think this guy has that kind of skill. Because I'm not a horror guy, and The Conjuring was one of my favorite movies of that
so
year.
Good.
It's just his directing style brings his uniqueness to it. So I'd like to see how that's going to transfer into the Fast.
So I saw this film at South by. I'm not bragging or anything. It was a midnight showing, which is really hard for me. That's a late movie for me. 9 is usually the cutoff. I'm an old lady. I like my sleep. What are you going to do? But being in that energy with the premiere of it, everyone going, how is this going to end? And just everyone cheering, and you're right. This franchise completely abandons any attempt at realism. They're just like, we're gonna blow stuff up and we're gonna jump out of buildings and it's gonna be outrageous and you're gonna love it. And nothing about it is going to be realistic. And that's why it's fun, opposed to Scott Waugh's film, oh my god, the driving one. I'm blanking on the name.
Too Fast. No,
Need for Speed?
Need for Speed. Need for Speed.
And that was all practical stunts. And regardless if you like that movie or not, I respect that. But I love how self-aware this franchise is. It's like, let's just have a good time. I will say that before going into it, I was probably a 4 opening weekend. I can't say this is my favorite franchise. I don't think the films are very good, but that's not why I like it. I like it because it's the family aspect, and it's fun, and I love shiny, fast cars, and gold naked ladies. Who doesn't? So I thought it was on par. And honestly, I was most curious about one. I am a horror junkie. And I thought the sensibilities that you have with a horror film and that tension and just building and not doing any cheap scares. It's really cheap thrills in this way, but still that tension and building to the climax is really important. So I thought that could translate well. And I just love Juan. He's just a good dude. And seeing how are they going to handle Paul Walker, I was very curious about it. So I'm not going to reveal anything, but it definitely met my expectations. So I'll be curious in a couple weeks once you guys have seen it, where it hits from there. So moving right along to a very different film, Woman in Gold. This one stars my lady Helen Mirren, Ryan Reynolds, and Daniel Bruhl. It is based on a true story about Maria Altman, played by Mirren, a Holocaust survivor who takes on the government of Austria to recover artwork she believes rightfully belongs to her family that was seized by the Nazis just prior to World War II. Simon Curtis directed this one. So David, why don't we start with you? Out of 1 uninterested to 5 camp out, where do you stand?
I'm at a 2 right now.
Okay.
I'm interested. I think this could be a good film. I think Ryan Reynolds is in need of a good solid film. I know he's Deadpool. I mean, Green Lantern didn't do so well, even though,
low blow, man.
I know,
blow.
I'm sorry. It's like, I like Ryan Reynolds. I'm a fan of his. I think he has a lot of charisma. I feel like he's been miscast a lot recently. I don't know much about Simon Curtis. I loved My Week with Marilyn. I don't know, I was a big fan. I thought Michelle Williams' performance in there was awesome. Hopefully he can direct this film well, too. They called it, I think, the Austrian Mona Lisa in the trailer, I believe. So it looks interesting. It's got a great cast. I mean, Helen Mirren, she's the girl, the woman. She's just crazy.
Woman.
She's always good.
She's getting better with age, like a fine wine, I tell you. I'm going to go next on this. I'm going to say opening weekend 4 because World War II, there's something so fascinating about that decade to me and about everything surrounding it and the alliances and just the state of turmoil that the world was in and how we were able to get out. And, being part of the art world and watching that seized, we saw that in The Monuments Men, but it was done in such a flat way, and I don't feel like this is going to be. And Ryan Reynolds, I feel like from the trailer anyway, they seem like they have good chemistry. He's really good at comedy but can do drama as well, and something like this will make it more tangible to the audience. And Mirren, I mean, she is just such a class act, and art history with World War II. I mean, this is up my alley. I'm a history buff, so I'm really excited. Miss Maud?
I'm the same. I was never really into art or any of that kind of, the maintaining of prestigious art until Monuments Men. Yes, it didn't really have a payoff at the end. You didn't have, that fulfillment afterwards, which I was really hoping for because everything should have worked in that movie. But what I took away from it is, wow, art's a really big thing and we have to reclaim it back again.
Preserve that baby.
Yeah, so I kind of like that it does feel a little bit familiar. It's like I just saw a movie a little bit like this, but hopefully it can be done in a way that is and there is a great payoff. I'm actually really excited about Tatiana Maslany in this. I love Orphan Black. I love it so much.
I don't watch it, but it keeps coming back to me.
She's so great, and I kind of want to see her out of a television show and on a movie, and I think that she actually really emulates her and Helen Mirren well, and I can't wait to see kind of the back and forth between present day and the period piece, like the time then.
It is funny when they get someone who resembles the actor that they're supposed to play the older version of, not in the slightest. You're like, come
Yeah,
Come
The Best of Me. Do
on.
you remember that one? Nicholas Sparks.
Really proud to say I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, Sparky boy. Christian, 1 through 5.
I'm doing a 3. I'm seeing it. And you guys, I'm surprised no one's mentioned Daniel Bruhl.
I love
Daniel
him.
Bruhl, who I love. Really won me over in Rush. You talk about a guy that is a superstar, and not superstar just because of his charisma and presence, because of his acting ability. And I agree with you, David, the fact that Ryan Reynolds hasn't had the best choices as of late, but to see him going back and forth with Helen Mirren is something I really want to see. And this reminds me, it's kind of a mixture of what you guys were saying with Monuments meets Philomena. For me, I kind of get that sense of it too, because of the personal history and this guy she kind of calls upon to help her out on her mission.
Absolutely.
So when that ties in, Ryan Reynolds is a guy that needs to be in movies like this, especially the fact that he's doing Deadpool now. Let's see what he does against an acting great like Helen Mirren. And in regards to Simon Curtis, My Week with Marilyn. Great movie, good directing. I don't know if it was film debut, but he's done a lot of TV stuff. This seems like it could be a TV movie if handled the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult to TV movies, but we don't want to see it in the theater. But the fact that he has this acting talent with Bruhl, with Tatiana Maslany, with Ryan Reynolds, I think this could be something. It could be a sleeper. Who knows? Something everyone's talking about. So I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm sorry. I said I'm going to be seeing it 3 out of 5.
I love Bruhl. I'm glad you talked about him because Rush, he should have been nominated for that role. He was amazing. And Chris Hemsworth was great, but it was Bruhl's movie. And The Fifth Estate, I didn't really care for that movie, but he was still fantastic in it. Every time he's on screen, he's meaningful. And I'm excited to see him join the MCU. And I'm just glad people are paying attention to him because he's a world-class actor. All right. So wrapping up our first episode with our last title, Effie Gray. This one is based on the real-life scandal. Dakota Fanning plays a 19-year-old Effie Gray who married a prominent art historian and critic named John Ruskin, who refused to consummate their marriage. After 5 years trapped in a loveless marriage, Effie decides to defy the rules of Victorian society. So Dakota Fanning's obviously the lead in this. Emma Thompson's also in it. And a fun fact about this one is she wrote the screenplay. So I love Thompson. She's very talented. I do like period pieces, as I mentioned. Now, I know you've seen this one, David, so I'm going to start with you last. So, Maud, what is your excitement level 1 through 5?
I'm going to go with probably, can I do 2.5? I'm curious and may see it. I'm curious. I may see it, but I might not. I know that this has had delays a couple of times because Emma Thompson kept getting sued for plagiarism whilst with the script work because she kind of borrowed from screenplays and the play. Yeah, but she won everything, so that's all good. But it just stopped it from coming out.
Yay, Emma!
This is her movie. This is like you can tell this is her baby. Yeah. And when I was watching the trailer a couple of times as well, it was like, this is Emma's role, this is her movie. And it's like, well, actually, it's not so much about her as it is Dakota Fanning. And in this 2 minutes and 20 second trailer, Dakota Fanning had maybe 2 lines, maybe 7 words all up. And that's it. I like how Dakota looks when she's transformed. I think she really pulls it off well. And she's got that beautiful, proper voice in the 7 words that I heard her speak. But I think this is going to be Emma's movie. And I want it to be Emma's movie because, she's awesome.
She is awesome.
What doesn't really resonate with me, it doesn't look exciting. I think it wants to be like a Pride and Prejudice. It wants to have that Austin kind of
Don't
feel.
they all?
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why. I just don't know if this one's really going to pull it through, but it means that Dakota Fanning can take over Keira Knightley from doing period pieces.
Christian?
I am curious, and this actually it completes a trilogy of movies, which it was it does with Howard's End and The Remains of the Day. This is the 3rd movie out of those 3. I knew that going into it, but when you watch this trailer, it feels like those movies. It feels like you can. If you like those films, if you like the period pieces, I think you're going to get a lot of the same themes that you do. But I agree with Maud 100% that it looks like they're now saying Keira Knightley's not available for this, or she's getting a little older. So now Dakota Fanning, you get your hand in it. Let's just hope she doesn't do 573 of them like Keira Knightley has done. But yeah, I'm curious because of the talent involved. It's very similar to my answer before. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to care or if it's going to feel like I drank a bottle of NyQuil. But the other,
which can be very effective.
Yes, the flip side to that is that I can come out of it going, that was really engaging. The writing was fantastic. The character work was great. Sometimes when these period pieces are done well, it's like going to the theater and they just crush it with these performances, and you are just taken aback by how emotional you feel afterwards and feeling like you are in that time period. So I'm curious.
I'm going to give it a 3. I'm definitely going to see it. Dakota Fanning, I mean, she's never tackled something like this before, and it's terrifying at such a young age what she's been able to do on the big screen. Like, where do you get that from? You know, like, I remember when she was first on the scene, and it's baffling. Very talented family in general. And Emma Thompson, being that this is her labor of love, and, you know, I do feel like just the premise alone, it could be really slow. And so setting my expectations that way, I probably would enjoy it a little more. He's smirking. I think it's slow. But yeah, I'm definitely going to see it. I'm not going to run and see it, but there's enough talent attached to it that I'm interested. And Richard Laxton directed it. Curious what he would bring. So, David, don't tempt us too much since we've seen it, but 1 through 5, how excited were you going into it?
I was a 3. This is definitely see it for me. You give me, especially give me Keira Knightley. You give me costumes. You give me something. You give me something set in the Victorian period, and you give me a lovely British accent, and I'm there. I'm just a sucker for it. I love Jane Eyre. You know, with Michael Fassbender, I just love that. It has that same kind of dark, you know, her hair is almost a similar way, the way it's done up. It's just, I love those kind of films. And Emma Thompson wrote this. This one looked like it was going to be that. Of course, I won't say, you know, either way, because like I said, I was going to see it. I think if you don't like those kind of movies, if you're not a fan of Pride and Prejudice, you're not a fan of Sense and Sensibility, you know, all the stuff with the weird, like, sexual tension where, like, nothing really happens because it was just the times, was what they show, that they don't really show anything.
They were classy back then.
They were classy. They were classy. They took somebody on a date first, you know, so you, then maybe this isn't for you, but for me, this was going and seeing it for sure.
Cool.
I love period pieces.
All right. Cool, guys. Well, that's going to do it for our first premiere episode of Coming Soon. Thank you for all of your support. Let us know what you're looking forward to on this list, of course. Going to thank Christian Harloff. Where can people find you online?
Well, you can find me here, AMC Jedi Council, every Thursday with the lovely Maude Garrett.
What?
Make sure you submit your questions to hashtag AMC Jedi Council.
David Griffin, thanks for coming to our humble abode.
Thank you for having me. This is great. You can find me on Twitter at GriffinDE and on ScreenRant.com.
The wonderful Maude Garrett.
I'm also going to be on Jedi Council, believe it or not. Look at these beautiful toys. Toys. They're collectors. And I'm also on Geek Bomb, but I'm on all social medias. Just search Maude Garrett. Yay.
And you can find me at Amy Rosie on the various channels. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share the love. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.